Good morning, friends. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. I'm pleased to be able to welcome students from across the length and breadth of this great nation. I welcome you again to day one of your induction ceremony Ignite 2021. I'm Professor Arpit Trivedi, your event host, moderator, and voice. Let me take you through the process of how we will conduct the webinar today. Our guest will address the batch for 1 hour. First 50 minutes will be knowledge sharing and last 10 minutes will be question and answers. Students are encouraged to put the relevant to the topic questions in the chat box. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome our keynote speaker, Mr. Rajiv Mitra. Rajiv sir is the CEO and Director, Prabhat Dairy Group Company of Lactalis, world's largest dairy company, present in 60 countries with a turnover in excess of 20 billion euros. Rajiv sir is a member and office bearer at several industry bodies, dairy committees, and management institutes of repute. Sir holds honorary post of Member Academic Advisory Council at IIEBM. He is well known and respected in the industry circles for his readiness in mentoring students and professionals. Mitra sir has earlier served as Managing Director, Govind Milk and Milk Products, and is largely credited with transforming the company to a major dairy player in Western India. Prior to that, sir has held various leadership positions in telecom, FMCG, and food industry. Mitra sir has extensive experience in marketing, sales, supply chain management, and general management. Sir is a postgraduate in economics, MBA in marketing, and alumnus of Jadavpur University, Kolkata. Sir has attended executive management programs at IIM Ahmedabad and ISB Hyderabad. A keen lover of sports and an avid reader, sir is an occasional golfer, debater, and a commentator on political and social issues. Now, I request Rajiv sir to open the keynote address for the 22nd batch.
Thank you, Arpit. Thank you very much for a very nice introduction. And I thank IIEBM for having me as a keynote speaker today. I welcome all the students on behalf of this institute. I am associated with IIEBM. I am a part of IIEBM for the last 20 years, I think, since inception. So I thank Dr. Jai Singh for reposing his faith on my guidance. And once again, thank you very much for the opportunity today. For the students, we are getting used to a different world now. We are getting used to these kind of virtual sessions. So though it takes away the pleasure, the fun, and the life of a physical interaction, but you have to live with this change and bear with me for a kind of impersonal talk now. I will try to make it slightly interactive, and I will take questions towards the end. So, I am the CEO of a company called Prabhat Dairy. I am in dairy business. In India, I'm a part of the world's largest dairy company called Lactalis. Lactalis has currently a turnover of 25 billion euro, present in 60 countries, having over 250 plants worldwide. In India, we are present across 7 Indian states, and we have 14 dairy plants in the country. What do? We collect 3 million liters of milk every day. 3 million is 30 lakhs. I mean, it's the same figure. So just for a moment, internalize the figure. Ours is a country of small farmers, micro farmers. So their average milk production per farmer is, let us say, 20 liters. So you can imagine what kind of collection infrastructure it takes to collect 30 lakh liters of milk every day. How many farmers are we connected to? What is the rural infrastructure that we would be having to collect this much volume of milk every day? So here what we do, we collect milk, we process milk in our factories. What is processing of milk? Milk is made into is pasteurized, homogenized, and we pack it in pouches or Tetra Pak containers for the consumers directly for consumption, the milk that you drink, or we make curd, or we make ghee, butter for consumer use. We make cheese, we make milk powder, which is sold to the ingredient buyers or intermediaries, who in turn make finished goods. Like, let's say I sell milk powder to the pharmaceutical companies, to chocolate manufacturers, to biscuit manufacturers, who use our powder to make their finished products, which you consume as, let us say, biscuits or chocolate or things like that. We make cheese. Cheese is sold to the pizza companies. Say when you have a pizza, just think of the cheese that is there as a topping. The cheese is not made by the pizza companies. They are bought from dairies like ours. We sell to the hotels, restaurant segments. So we sell directly to the consumers. We sell to the ingredient buyers, and we sell to the hotels and restaurants and canteens, etc. So this is, in a nutshell, my business, from cow to the consumer. So we collect milk from the farmers who rears cows. We collect those milk. That milk comes in tankers to our factories, to our processing units. We convert that milk into consumable products, and then that is sold to the different segments, as I explained. So it's a huge value system. It's a huge value chain of activities, and that go through the day. When the consumer gets milk at her doorstep every day morning, please remember that there is a farmer behind it, there is a tanker driver behind it, there is a milk chiller behind it. There are many factory workers who are engaged in the factory's drying of milk, evaporating milk, converting into powder, making it into butter, cheese, and a whole host of products that you get at your doorstep through different channels of distribution. Could be a local kirana shop, could be a big modern trade shop like, let's say, the Reliance, the Tatas, the Walmarts, the Amazons, etc. And the e-commerce, like, as I said, Amazon and Flipkart and others. So there is a huge chain of activities that go on while you enjoy your glass of milk at home, or your cube of cheese, or your butter on your bread. So what do I do as a CEO? Now you are youngsters, you are joining a management institute. So there will not be, you will get into the corporate life, you will be managers, you will be senior managers, and then you will become eventually CEOs and MDs of companies. So what is that a CEO does? I'll explain it in a very, very simple way, which you should remember. A CEO is one who has a very sharp definition of a problem. We are faced with so many situations. You may call it a problem, you may call it a situation, you may call it a routine, you may call it a new one every day, but we have to have a very sharp problem definition. I define a problem in a very sharp way, and I have a very simple communication at all levels, to all levels of the value chain, to my senior managers, to the middle managers, to a factory worker, to a truck driver, to a farmer, to everybody in the system. So define a problem sharply and communicate a solution in the most simplistic way. So that is what, in a nutshell, I would say is the job of a CEO. A sharp problem definition and a simple communication of proposed solutions. There may not be one solution to a situation or a problem. There may be many, and there could be people who would be capable of picking up a good solution. So it's my job to define a problem and to communicate a solution in a very, very simple way, understandable to all. I would say, if you remember this, your job in your management studies and in your corporate life eventually will be simple. Sharp problem definition, communicating one or many solutions in a very simple way, understandable by all levels of management or workmen. Done. So now, having said now how difficult it is or how easy it is, now the last 1 year or more than that, the whole world is grappling with a situation called COVID. The way we function, how we work, is changing, has changed a lot. Work from home is just one part of it. How we can contribute in a COVID situation and in the post-COVID situation is something that I need to talk to you about. But before that, I will say what we have done as a company during this COVID situation. We have focused on three things, three stakeholders. One, people who are associated with us, our employees, our suppliers, our farmers who supply milk to us, our equipment suppliers, our other raw material suppliers, packing material suppliers. So we have taken care of our people. We have, in terms of let's say, the very hygiene, that is, we have not sent anybody home. We have not cut any wages. Instead, we have actually offered more to people in general when the situation started. And then as we went along with it, it became a way of life. We knew that this is not something which is going away very soon. This is something which is going to stay with us for some time. So people got used to it. And as a company, we supported our people, whether or not they were affected by the virus. People who were affected by the virus, they were taken care of in terms of their health and safety requirements, in terms of taking care of their families. We have had some deaths due to COVID in the family, so we are taking care of their families more than we can't bring lives back, but we are taking care of children's education and maintaining their pay for a reasonable period of time. And anything else, when it started, it was different. We were talking of, say, washing your hands, your hand hygiene, your social distance, your mask. So all of them became very, very mandatory and strictly implemented so that we could stop the spread. And then when vaccine happened, we offered vaccination to all our employees free of cost, and which is very successfully we have vaccinated most of our people at least once and at the cost of the company. So every which way, we are taking care of our people, because that is our first obligation as an organization. To customers, as we are in essential services, we could not shut our factories because cows will produce milk, farmers will get milk, and they will have to sell milk. Their livelihoods, they depend on the milk that they sell. So we cannot not take that milk. So we could not shut our factories. So our workers, we are in the essential services, so our workers would go to factories and work. Our entire system was working while we were under the strictest of lockdowns in 2020 and also in 2021. We were working. And so were some of our customers who are also in essential services. As I said, we supply to pharmaceutical companies who could not stop their production facilities. Also, let's say when when there is severe lockdown in the country everywhere, you would still have your Swiggies and Zomatos delivering pizza to your doorstep. Those were on. And what is a pizza if you don't have cheese on it? So we had to sell. So, as I said, our first priority was people, and then we took care. We were with our customers. We never lost sight of our customers. We were available to our customers because our customers needed us. Some of them are also in essential services as much as we are in. And even if not in essential services, a biscuit maker did not stop making biscuits because people will need to eat. A bread maker, somebody who makes bread, he didn't stop making breads because people will need to eat, and bread will have to have butter on top of it. So our customers needed us, and we were available to our customers. So one, people; two, customers. Third is the community. We were available to the community in terms of making generous donations to the PM Cares funds or the Chief Minister's funds. That is institutionalized, even unorganized, organized but non-institutionalized, like feeding the poor in the people during the now we know what is it, and we are coping with it. We are doing well. But during the initial stages of lockdown, people didn't know what to do, and there were severe instances of there were severe cases where people had to be taken care of. The community had to be taken care of. So we conducted, medical camps. We set up COVID care centers in near all our factory locations, which are mostly in rural areas. A dairy plant is rarely in an urban center. These are in rural areas because milk is found in rural areas, and we set up plants near where you get raw material. So I just wanted to reiterate that we were very we took care of our people. We are taking care of our people. We are conscious that the customers need us, so we are available to our customers, and we are responsible to the community by making donations to the funds, by taking care of people around where we work, by setting up medical centers, not only for our people, for people in and around our plants, because we had to sanitize the entire neighborhood. Our workers come from villages, and we had to take care of those entire villages, not only the families who come to work with us. So people, customers, community, these three were our priorities. Why am I saying this to you? Because it is important to know how a corporate functions in a normal time and in an emergency time. In an emergency, profit is important always in an emergency or otherwise. But during such occasions, you have to rise above your business goals. Business goals, I'm repeating, are very important, but you sometimes rise above business goals and do things which are beyond your business goals. So that is how a CEO functions. You need to know. That is my reason of telling you. So what is the first thing I said? The first thing I said is what a CEO does. Just sharp problem definition, simple solutions communication. Two, I said what we did during COVID, just to tell you how should one behave during such occasions, because as you know, there is somebody very famous by the name Tom Friedman, if you have heard of him. Tom Friedman, he said that COVID is not just an event. It is possibly a herd of marauding elephants, which means that one wave after another, first, second, third, you never know what would be the intensity of waves. You never know where we are, whether we have passed 10% of the problem or 50% of the problem or 90% of the problem. We are hoping that we have passed 100% of the problem. We have come off it, we are hoping, but that's just hope. We don't know what it is exactly. So anyway, so these are uncertain times, emergency situations, and this is how we behave. Now, the third thing which I would want to tell you is my thoughts on post-COVID trends. I will tell you 10 thoughts on post-COVID trends. So these are, this is, as I said, this is a virtual session. I don't know how you are taking it, whether you are understanding what I am saying, but I'm assuming that you are listening at least. So I will keep it in 3 sections. The first section was repeating. First section was what a CEO does. Second is what we did during COVID emergency and what we will continue to do should the emergency continue. And third is what I am saying now, the 10 post-COVID trends, the emerging trends that we are seeing. One is technology, predominance of technology in everything that we are doing. People are, this digital, things becoming digital. Today, let's say, there are no cinema halls are not functional. Those PVRs and Inoxes are not there. But you are having Netflix and Amazon Prime at home. Most of you know of these things. So this is what? This is streaming technology. What I am doing to you now, I have always been to IIEBM campus on the day of your induction, and I always had a 1-hour session or 1.5-hour session with you. I enjoy that. But what am I doing today? Today I'm sitting at home, and I don't know where you all are. You all are in different cities in India, and you are able to log on to your computers and listen to what I'm saying. So this is technology. So COVID, it has changed our lives, and it has made technology a very, very important part of all our lives, be it entertainment, be it shopping, your convenient shopping, you buy groceries online, be it education. Today, all schools and colleges are having online sessions, be it education. And today, with this, there is in every sphere, entertainment, education, commerce, our ways of working at our offices, at our homes, it is all technology. So you cannot emphasize the importance of technology. You cannot overemphasize it. It has become, and it is going to become, very important part of our lives. So predominance of technology, 1. 2 is protect people. Protect people. We have come to know that it is not only me or my family or my neighborhood, it is the entire world that needs to be protected. So we do as much as we can. If I am the CEO of a company, I am responsible for all my employees. My first job is to protect them. I protect my people because this has been a catastrophe. So use technology, use conventional methods, do whatever you want to protect people. And how do we protect people? By very simple things. Keep on harping on the 3 basic needs: mask, social distance, hand hygiene. We have been talking about it for more than 1 year, but it is still required. Mind you, I see now with the opening up in Mumbai and Pune, people are becoming slightly careless, and you can't help it. People will have to move out, and people will have to go to their workplaces because people cannot die of hunger. People will have to come out. So I am not blaming them totally. It is not that they are casual. They are also pushed by compulsion that people are out. And not everybody will move around in cars. They will have to go in local trains, and they'll have to go in buses, and there will be, contacts, physical contacts, so you have to be safe. You have to take care. If there are symptoms, you go and get yourself tested. And we do, as maybe as a father, as a husband, as a CEO, as a social influencer, as an opinion leader, we do everything to keep our people safe. So that is point number 2. Point number 3 is to support and nurture business. We have to support and nurture business. I am a company, I am a very big company, a global company, but I have many suppliers who are not so big. So I have many buyers, I have customers who are not so big. So we all do everything as consumers, as businesses. We do everything to support and nurture business, my own business, and if possible, others' businesses too. I don't mean to say that you pay more than what is competitive. We have come out of those days that you support this or you support that. Today, as a consumer, I want the best value for my money, and that the consumer's quest for best value for money gives rise to something called competitiveness. So Indians have learned to compete. Over the last 30 years, we have come a long way. We cannot go back, but still we support and nurture businesses. Fourth, preserve financial stability. Preserve financial stability. During this lockdown, we came to know what we actually need and what we don't need. So as individuals, as companies, as businesses, as communities, as a society, we preserve financial stability. Nothing can be taken for granted. Preserve financial stability. Businesses, we have seen so many people losing jobs, businesses shutting shop. So financial stability becomes very important. One has to work towards that. 5, strengthen globalization. In my opinion, this war cannot be fought and won alone. The entire world has to come together to fight this. So we strengthen globalization more than ever now. Even Make in India, in my opinion, is globalization, where we invite companies from all over the world to come, invest here, manufacture here, create jobs here, satisfy the consumers here. Like, I am a global company, but what I do, I collect milk from whom? From Indian farmers. I employ 10,000 people. Who are these people? They are Indian people. I sell to the Indian consumer. So this is the real Make in India. So you have to think of globalization. This is a war that has to be fought all together. We have to make vaccines in India. We have to do that. But at the same time, we have to see that we have 1.3 billion people. We have to see where all vaccines are available, and we have to get them. And in return, they will want something that we do well. We have to do that. So, as my opinion, strengthen globalization. 6, capitalism with compassion. See, this is a capitalist world. Businesses generate money. Money is GDP. They create employment. That is how it is not. There is no charity anywhere. There is capitalism. There has to be capitalism, but there has to be compassion. As I said, what we did during COVID, we looked after our people. We looked after our people more than I can say that I am paying you salaries. What more you want? But that is not enough. That might not have been enough, which is capitalism with compassion. 7, to progress decisively on climate. What has happened is, before COVID, our biggest issue, the biggest problem that we had was climate change. It is happening even without us knowing, even without us realizing how big a problem it is. There are some world leaders we have seen who did not want to even recognize that global warming is a problem. Global warming is a problem. There are floods in places where they never heard or thought of floods, like big cities, in Germany or many other places of Europe, with the mountains melting. So we have to progress decisively on global warming. Is it really a COVID issue? It is not really a COVID issue. But there are things that we don't know. See, climate change is a problem more than we can imagine. So we don't know how COVID originated. So I would say, this being a problem of such humongous nature, it has to be dealt with any which ways. Be resilient, point number 8, be resilient and be adaptive. Be adaptive to change. These are changing times. The way we work has changed. The way we consume entertainment has changed. The way we get ourselves educated has changed. The way we buy has changed. So we have to adapt ourselves to this change and be resilient to any such change. We cannot live in the pre-COVID times anymore. So we like it or we don't like it, we have to be adaptive and resilient to this change. 9, leadership makes a difference. We all are leaders. We all are leaders in our own way. I am a leader of a company. A politician or a minister is a political leader. He manages some aspects of the country. Like Professor Arpit is a leader. He is leading some sections in the college. He's leading an education institute. So a student, anybody in the community, we are leaders in our own way. So good leadership will make a difference. Okay, so we have to. And now, what is good? What are these 10 things I am talking? These 10 things I think are the post-COVID trends, which is to the best of my knowledge, understanding, learning, and experience. Are they all true? Are they all written in the Gita or the Bible? No. This is my understanding. This is my leadership. So a good, decisive leadership will make a difference. Try and do things that you think are right. Last, reimagine and reinvent. You have to reimagine the scope of work. You have to reimagine the scope of your study. You have to reimagine the scope of your work as a cricket captain, as an athlete. You are performing when there are no spectators on the ground. Neeraj Chopra won an Olympic medal without any spectators on the ground. So you have to reimagine everything. And why we say imagination? Because a good imagination produces best results. So the 10 things that I'm saying, the post-COVID trends are: technology becomes a game changer. People become very, very important. Point number 2. So we have to protect people. We have to protect businesses. Earlier, we used to think that I will score at the cost of somebody else. Somebody else will have to lose for me to win. Not anymore. See, the thought is that other person will also, which is a thought that comes out of COVID, I would say, the other person will also have to succeed, will also have to win for me to win. So technology becomes a game changer. We have to protect people, support and nurture business, preserve financial stability, strengthen globalization, capitalism with compassion, progress decisively in climate action, be adaptive and resilient. Leadership makes a difference. And point number 10, reimagine and reinvent. So these are the 3 sections that I spoke about. Very simply, what is a CEO? What are the 3 things that we did during the COVID times? And what, according to me, are the post-COVID trends? Over to you, Arpit.
Sir, my students have a couple of questions for you. The first question is, this is from my student from Calcutta. She asks, sir, what is your suggestion on reducing the milk adulteration in India, which is a major concern these days?
No, there's a good question. See, these are very big topics. Once they start coming to college and once I visit them, I'll talk about adulteration. Sure. See, it has to be. There are testing processes and which we all do. Antibiotics get tested, toxins get tested, and there are several such processes of doing it. So all of us are doing it in our own ways. There are various stakeholders involved: the farmer, the middleman, the companies like ours, then the distributors, and then the consumers. So adulteration is a problem. Not only milk, food adulteration is a problem in our country. There are laws against it, but the laws are not. The laws don't have teeth, so that the implementation is not very, very strong. But a lot of people are working on it. We have come a long way, and there are many more things to be done. So this is being tackled at government level, that is policy making level, at corporate level, that is our level. We want to create awareness of the problems of adulteration, and then identifying the offenders, penalizing them, doing the right kind of testing, and if there is an adulterated raw material that enters the system, rejecting it altogether. So there are various things to be done. Yes, but very good question, but takes a lot of time to explain and answer. So don't, I would say, reserve your industry-related technical questions for a time when we will be able to interact with more time in hand. Yes, please.
Sir, my next question is from a student from Bhopal. He asks, Sir, what innovation Prabhat Dairy employed during the pandemic to reach the end user?
Yes, so good question. As I said, the end user started ordering online. So we went and got ourselves listed online. The end user wanted to be reassured that the milk is free from the virus. So we had to say that this is not a foodborne disease. This is something. So all our awareness programs started. But essentially, to reach the consumer, we are slightly fortunate because we are already a fully automated dairy with very little human intervention. So all those things were known to the people. But innovation in terms of distribution, innovation in milk collection, all those things we did, because even our people could not reach out to the farmers. Our people could not reach out to the consumers. So the entire IT-based, technology-based, smart distribution system is what we adopted. Yes, Arpit?
Sir. So the next question is, sir, in your opinion, what is the scope of digital marketing in dairy industry? Because it starts from rural and comes to urban.
Yes. So yes.
So this is the question asked from my student from Jammu.
Very good. Thank you for asking such questions. So see, digital marketing is what? See, today there are conventional ways of reaching, creating awareness with the customer, which is, let's say, a newspaper print or a TV ad or an outdoor hoarding or any such thing. Now, digital marketing, because consumers are consuming digital, today is 16th of August. Okay. Now, there is no newspaper today because newspapers, they are closed on 15th August and there is no newspaper today. But tell me, are we not online with the news, what is happening in the world? Or do we not know what happened with Afghanistan while we were sleeping? The president of Afghanistan fled the country, the Taliban that took over Kabul. So we know what is happening in America, what is happening in Jammu, what is happening in Coimbatore. So we know. How do we know? We have not read newspapers. We have not gone out of our homes to watch the hoardings, and also we have consumed everything through social media digitally. So if that is the consumption pattern of information by people, by my audience, so I am available there. I have to be available there because people are consuming information digitally, so I have to be available digitally. So it is a question of, again, me. A dairy is generally a traditional company. Ways and means are traditional, but again, as I said, we have to be adaptive and resilient. More so due to COVID. Because of COVID, people's consumption of digital information through social media has increased manifold. So it is all the more important for us to be available there so that the consumer knows about us, knows about the importance of milk and milk products and why they have to consume it. So if I am not available there, the consumer will not know about us. So it is very important for us. So to answer the question, digital marketing is very, very important for us.
Absolutely, sir. Sir, the next question is from the city of Anand, my student from Anand, Gujarat. Sir, the question is, sir, tell us about technology empowerment done by Prabhat Dairy for its farmers.
Yes. See, very good question. So technology empowerment is done. See, dairy has not generally. India is number one in dairy. India is number one in dairy, and at the same time, India is number one in IT, information technology. But unfortunately, the usage of IT in dairy is not at a level that we would like it to be. It is not at that level, but it is slowly catching up. Smart technology. There are a lot of IITians and IIM graduates I know who have given up cushy jobs and they have invested in smart tech companies. So which is what is the companies like ours? We are empowering the farmers with that. Say the milking cycle of a cow, or predicting the quantity of milk, or as somebody asked questions about adulteration. So suppose a sick cow is under treatment, and that treatment may be antibiotics. So there may be traces of antibiotic residue in that milk. So for the farmer to segregate that milk, and so that residue don't reach the consumer, there are usages of smart technology, and that smart technology empowers the farmer. Or for example, let's say cooling system, milk has to be chilled. So after milking, it may take 3 hours or 4 hours for milk to be chilled. And now if I can reduce that 3 hour to, let's say, half an hour through use of some technology, the farmer is empowered because time is money. He shortens that period and he moves on to something else, to the next cycle. And I collect milk quickly, and I collect it, bring it to my factory, and the same vehicle can take another round to go somewhere else to collect. So that unproductive usage of time is reduced, which technology is helping with. And as I said, adulteration technology can help with in identifying adulteration. Technology can help with predicting milk cycles. Technology can help in shortening times, which we all are trying to do. And automation, modernization, mechanization at the farm level is an objective that we have, and that empowers the farmer.
Sir, understanding your time constraint, these will be the last two questions that I'll take, but I have close to 9 questions, which I'm sure I could not continue with.
Yeah.
Sir, the second last question, it's a personal question, sir, and I'm sure even a lot of my students will be encouraged and guided when you answer this. So tell us about your reading habit and how you nurture it even today.
Oh, I read a lot. I like reading books and various subjects, autobiographies, fiction, and there are a lot of friends I know who are authors themselves. There are many people. There is a book written by my ex-CEO of Lactalis, which is a very, very popular book, Lactalis and the Conquest of the World. So I read such books, and it helps. All of us, all of you students, particularly to the students, you must nurture, you must inculcate habits to read whatever you like, because your knowledge increases. It's a window. It's a window to the world. You read fiction. I like books on wars, World War II particularly. I read business books. I read autobiographies, and various. I read at least 20 newspapers every day, and I am a huge consumer of social media: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, everything. I read a lot, and I think it's not a choice. It's an essential habit. It's an essential habit. If you are not reading, if you don't read, then you have no advantage over someone who cannot read. So it's a choice you make. You don't read, so what is your advantage over someone who is illiterate?
Very well said, sir. So beautifully said. Sir, my last question to you is, sir, this question is from a student of Indore. He says, sir, can you give us a checklist on what a fresher should prepare for post-COVID job scenario?
See, I tell you, forget the checklist. I'll tell you what is needed. What is needed out of a student for an employment, from a management trainee to a board level appointment. from a management trainee to a CEO, MD level appointment, what you need to contribute. Okay, so if you have to contribute, you have to know. Otherwise, you won't contribute. And your knowledge will come from your reading, will come from your this 2 years of session, all your faculty members will say. So all that. So you have to contribute. That is needed. So when you are interviewed, you will be assessed whether this man can contribute or not. So that is first. 2 is competence. You know, you will need competence. And
Right.
competence will come from what? Competence is your value system. What is the schooling you have had till now? What is your, there are people who may be from agricultural background, from service background, from business background, and all that put together will give you competence. And these 2 years will actually polish your competence. Okay. So as I said, first is you'll have to contribute. So be ready to contribute, be forthcoming to contribute. 2, that contribution has to be backed by competence. And the third thing that you need if you are to be hired as a management trainee or as a CEO is character. Okay, so there are 3 C's I am talking about. You contribute, you are competent, and you have to be a man of character. That man of character, whether you are or you are not, will have to be demonstrated as you go along your days in life. As I said, companies go through normal times, companies go through abnormal times such as these. What you do during abnormal times is something that is your character. That is your character. So contribution, competence, character. This is what I feel is required at any level for anyone.
Sir, with this question, we would wrap up the question and answer session. Thank you, sir, for making everything look so simple. Your insight on business, community, COVID will help our students moving forward. IIEBM salutes your enthusiasm. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on Monday morning today.
Thank you, Professor Arpit, and thank you the entire team of IIEBM, and thanks once again to Dr. Jai Singh and Colonel Marwa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.